Alright, what's going on everybody? Today we've got an exciting new type of video. I'm going to be doing a little bit of cooking for you. And by cooking, I mean no cooking. None at all. I'm going to be doing a little bit of magic here. Making my nightly ice cream treat. Now a lot of people do nice cream or anabolic ice cream or whatnot. And I can do that. I got the Ninja blender. I do have anabolic ice cream every once in a while. But sometimes I just don't feel like getting the blender up and running and throwing a ton of ice in there and whatever. Also, if I eat that much ice right before I go to bed, I'm up in the night having to go to the bathroom. So this is a slightly drier option. If you cut off your water at the right time, I actually will sleep through the night. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm going to show you two ways that I normally make this, and then a bunch of options for customization. You can really go whichever direction you want. So the main staples, the only things that will stay the same between the two recipes, we've got plain non-fat Greek yogurt, plain non-fat cottage cheese, a big old bag of frozen blueberries, or you can buy blueberries and freeze them, some cinnamon, and a little splash of almond milk, depending on how frozen you like it. I like to basically make this way ahead of time, throw it in the freezer. It freezes solid like a brick. I take it out, thaw it for a few minutes, throw some almond milk in it, creams it up, thickens it up, and boom, you're good to go. So, first recipe, I got my normal off-season bowl here, followed by a normal bowl for, if you're dieting and you gotta make this a little bit smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on a food scale here. All we're going to do is we're going to go in with about 200 grams of Greek yogurt. Now I use the fat-free. If you have the macros for it, go ahead and play with the fats. That's really lesson one in the customization here, is that you can change the fat content in the two dairy items. Of course, they'll taste different, better, worse, whatever. If you don't like plain Greek yogurt, I also buy the Dan and Lighten Fit. Well, I buy the Walmart brand, but it's like vanilla Greek yogurt. It is 90 calories per 170 grams, I think, whereas this is no, it's about the same. It's about the same. I think that one might actually be a little bit higher. This is 90 calories per 170 grams. That one might be like 110 because there's a few more carbs in it because of the vanilla flavoring. So you can kind of play with it there. I find that the vanilla flavored Greek yogurt pairs really nicely with recipe number 2 that I'm going to be showing you, or variation number 2. It's not really a new recipe. Also, go ahead and just lick the spoon. It's off season. Won't count those 3 grams there. And yes, I did lick that and then put it in this container. First of all, we're going to use the rest of this container. Second of all, forever alone, I live alone, and I'm not going to yell at me for spooning out my cottage cheese with a licked spoon. So we're going to do 1 cup of cottage cheese, which is 226 grams, 140 calories, those of you counting at home. And now this is where the magic happens, right? All we have is this disgusting looking bowl so far, and now we've got to choose our toppings. So what I generally go in with is a little bit of cinnamon, just a couple of poots of cinnamon. That's a exact term. And now's where you have to make your decision. Do I want to go with the cinnamon bowl or do I want to go with the chocolate bowl? I like cinnamon in my chocolate bowl. Maybe you don't. That's fine. Don't sue me, bro. But the chocolate bowl is going to be a little bit higher calorie, which is what I'm going to go with today. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go in with some cocoa powder. I do about 2 teaspoons. You don't have to be super accurate. I mean, 2 tablespoons. Per tablespoon or 5 grams is 15 calories. So I have the macros for this, and I just assumed about 20 calories worth. I'm not super concerned about it. Now we're just going to go ahead and give this a mix. Careful, because the powder will fly up in your face. It will find its way into your nostrils. You will cough, sneeze, choke, and keel over. We don't want that. So I'm going to be honest with you, it still doesn't look amazing. It basically just looks like chunky ice cream. I wouldn't recommend doing the hold it over your head test with this. It will fail. That's why you freeze it. If you want to eat this right away, take your blueberries, your frozen blueberries, throw them in there, mix it up, and give it like a minute. And the frozen blueberries actually cool it down enough so that it gets really thick and it's good to go right there. Other options. Sugar-free Jello. You can throw some of this in if you really want to thicken it up, or if you really like it chocolatey. I don't typically use it. You can do, if you're doing the cinnamon version, you can throw in sugar-free maple syrup, more cinnamon. If you want to add carbs, this is Kashi, I think it's called like Protein Crunch Original. It's like a cinnamon puffed cereal. I think there's some like bran strips in it. Super low calories, but it adds like crunch to it. But no matter which way you decide to go, it is at this point that I will throw it in the freezer, let it get at least thick. Sometimes I'll freeze it solid, and then I'll take it out, throw a little splash of almond milk in it, and get going with the toppings. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through the rest of the toppings for you, and then I'm going to run through the macros for my two preferred combinations. So my first combination is I will do 1 square of extra dark chocolate. So this is 86% cocoa, whatever. I love dark chocolate. I think it's delicious. It's pretty healthy fat source, I guess. There's not a ton of fat in it. Just for reference, the serving size is actually 30 grams, which is a lot. That's 2.5 squares, which who eats 2.5? I don't know. I don't know. A whole brick is 510 calories. I'm eating roughly 115 to 120 calories worth if I eat 2 pieces. 1 brick is obviously less than that. I also like to use, these are sugar-free chocolate chips. You can use regular chocolate chips if you want, but these are just lower calories. 15 grams of them is only 70 calories, so not too bad. You can also go in with the sugar-free chocolate syrup, depending on how many chemicals you want going through you. You know, it's up to you. This is 31 grams is 10 calories. So I know when I'm cutting and the diet gets really rough, I got more chemicals running through me than a Johnson & Johnson factory. So, you know, in reality, replace all your delicious, normal people foods with you know, lab created chemicals. That ought to help. So that's the chocolate version. So for the chocolate version, if you do one brick of dark chocolate, 1 square, it's 500 calories, 8 grams of fat, 54 carbs, 7.5 of which is fiber, for those of you keeping track at home, and 48 protein. If you decide to up it to 2 pieces of dark chocolate, which I do recommend if you got the calories for it, oh man, those little crunchy bits of chocolate, dude, whew, you're looking at 50 extra calories, so it goes to 550 calories, 9.6 grams of fat, 55 carb, 8 of which is fiber, and 49 protein. So not half bad. 550 calories. I eat this basically like 60 to 90 minutes before I go to bed. I pretty much eat it, finish up the last episode of Netflix, brush my teeth, do kind of my evening routine, and hit the sack. So if you want to do the cinnamon version, that would include obviously a little more cinnamon than what I put into my chocolate bowl here. And then I tend to just throw in 1 square of dark chocolate into that as well. And usually that's about it. I like it pretty plain, just kind of the cinnamon, or if I make it with the vanilla Greek yogurt, it's just a kind of like a French toast almost yogurt, and that's much lower calories. So this is when I'm cutting, this is typically what I'll do, and that's about 360 calories, 5 fats, 33 carbs, 3.6 of which is fiber, and 36 grams of protein. Now again, sometimes in that bowl I'll throw in some sugar-free syrup. This is 15 calories for 30 mils. I just noticed we've got 2 syrups here. One of them gives you the calories in milliliters, and the other in grams. Kind of America, right? Another option, if you're looking for more fats and more protein, We have almonds. Almonds are delicious in ice cream. I will also take almonds, and I actually got some walnuts in the freezer, and I'll throw them in a food processor and I'll make chopped nuts. Not something I recommend if you're dieting. You can down like a whole cup of chopped nuts, like 800 calories worth of nuts will just, boom, go straight to your thighs. Just kidding. If you're really desperate to up protein, like if you really want to ingest 50 grams of protein right before bed, don't recommend it. Don't do it. Not a huge fan. But you can throw 100 grams of protein in. You want chocolate or chocolate peanut butter. I would recommend either like a Casein. Make it real thick if you don't care about thickness. This is Isotope by Redcon. Chocolate peanut butter goes pretty well with this. Or, let me tell you, my personal favorite, the best protein I've ever ingested in my entire life, might be the only protein that I will ever buy from now on, if they make it in Casein, is Hosstile Subs ISO. This is the cinnamon oatmeal cookie flavor. By far the best protein that has ever graced my lips. You throw it in this cinnamon bowl, or if you're a big cream of wheat or oat fan, you put this in your oatmeal and cream of wheat. This is probably the only protein powder that I could just take a spoon and eat it, like eat just the powder. It is like powdered cookie dough. It's nuts. But yeah, so you can quickly up the amount of protein in here. If you're someone who struggles to get protein in, I am not. You can also play with the ratios. If you don't like the texture of cottage cheese, do a little less cottage cheese, do a little more Greek yogurt, do a little less cottage cheese, add some protein powder. Play around with it. If you're someone who tracks macros, obviously you can play with all these different additions and find more. I'm currently working on a way that I can create a mint flavor so that I can do mint chocolate chip. That was a challenge of a friend of mine. So stay tuned if I figure that one out. But so far, early experiments have not gone well. We'll say that. Anyway, guys, just to recap again real quick. Plain Greek yogurt, plain fat-free cottage cheese. Mix them up. Throw in some cinnamon and cocoa powder. Or cinnamon or cocoa powder. Freeze it, take it out, throw your frozen blueberries into it, splash of almond milk, stir it up nice and thick. You can throw in dark chocolate, Jello pudding mix, almonds, sugar-free chocolate syrup, sugar-free chocolate chips, sugar-free maple syrup, different types of cereals, puffed rice, whatever you want, oat bran. And there you go. It'll be delicious, I promise. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this at least somewhat helpful. I know a lot of people are trying desperately to find a way to stomach cottage cheese. This is the way to do it. It's delicious. So stick around. I should have some more recipes coming at you guys soon, and talk to you later.